those 3 days. If you back engineer the dates to the year 0, you should be able to fix a date. Or not 0, excuse me, the year 33. You should be able to fix a date. What was the date in the year 33 that in fact Jesus was crucified, for example, and then rose? You can do it. It wouldn't be particularly difficult, and it would have been doable, completely doable, prior to the advent of computing. But they don't do that. Why don't they do that? Why is Easter a movable feast? Why? Well, I think there are 2 reasons. First of all, and you tell me in the comment section what you think, okay? First of all, I think that if they do that, then there's something that can be known about the authenticity of the dating of that event, incident, life, okay? And so to nail that down would be a bad idea. And I also think that the Vatican uses the risings and settings of the celestial bodies at around, a certain period of lunar months after Christmas to work its own brand of sorcery, shall we say. And so fixing the date for Easter for the Vatican would probably be a bad idea as well. Anyway, this is what I've been working on for the last couple of days, and I'm doing this in an effort to, to sort of help put some solidity around this idea of the false chronology, because it's a tough one, but it's really, really important that we get that that's seriously what's happened, and that we kind of, got that sort of cracked into our brain. It really is hugely important. So I'll bring some more points about that. Forgive my sniffles. It's raining, Maine, it's raining, and all of that. And then there were a couple of things that I did want to discuss, not really discuss, but anecdotally, I just have to say, it's so funny what we go through as hosts for these shows. I was trying to figure out what to wear. I mean, you have to be ready to go, and you have to have something suitable in the back seat of your car if you're going to do a show like this, the way I want to do a show like this, because when something comes up, you want to talk about it, you want to film it. So I'm thinking this morning to myself, I've got a couple of shirts, right, that are black and white striped. Okay? One of them I have, and this may seem silly, but it matters, okay? Let's talk about this. One of them, my husband bought me 2 years ago when he took me to Brittany to camp. We went camping and cycling, and he bought me one of those black and white, beautiful little black and white shirts. Very popular now, I've noticed, at least where I live. Lots of kids are wearing them, lots of adults are wearing them. But I can't wear that. I can't wear that in this sort of arena. Now, why do you think I can't wear that in this sort of arena? Additionally, before we left for holiday this summer, I bought a black and white striped tailored shirt as well this way, just to have something decent to throw on when we were with friends. Can't wear that either. Do you have any idea why I can't wear that? Because so many people out there will point at the screen and say, I knew it. She's a Mason. She's wearing black and white. Those are Masonic symbols. Everything she says in this video is meant to send a Masonic messages to her Masonic spy friend. Do you see? I mean, we have to think about things like that. Yes, black and white is a symbol of Masonry, and it is very important to make note of those things. But I, as an alternative media writer, researcher, lecturer, blah, 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 cannot afford to wear black and white in a setting like this, because people will stop listening to what I have to say, and they will simply start gabbing and gossiping and being horrified about the fact that that I'm wearing black and white, and that means I have Masonic ties. If you are interested, there is an interview on Hard True as well. Harold Katzbella and I did it on the 14th of October, I think 2014, and I do have it up, and it was done with a German fellow, but it was done in English, and I noticed in the comments section at some point not too long ago that someone had said, it's amazing how many Illuminati symbols those two are using. And I just had to laugh, because I thought, okay. Watch, see for yourself, okay? You tell me what you're saying. Anyway, I don't care. I just don't want to distract from what I'm saying, okay? I want you to hear what I'm saying. Now, as soon as I'm done with this, and I get it uploaded, and hopefully get it out today raw, I'm going to do Terry Joyce in LA. Thankfully, I had to reschedule every single one of my interviews last week, with the exception of Randy Moggins, thanks to Mercury retrograde. And Mercury is, gone about its business now, and so making up for lost time with my interviews. The other thing I want to remind you, and I will continue to remind you of this until Christmas, and that is that I am on an unpaid leave, medical leave, for my son. My youngest son, is quite ill. And so I am furiously fundraising to keep us going for the next 4 months. 3 months now, I guess. It's late September. And that's just the way it is. And I'm doing it unabashedly. If you're somebody out there who has chronically ill children, or if you suffer from chronic illness yourself, you'll know what I mean when I say the expenses associated with this kind of thing skyrocket. And I know what the statistics are in this country. So I know that there's a fair percentage of people out there watching me who have lived through this, or are living through this, or certainly you might live through this in the future. Okay. First, I want to say thank you to the people who have so generously donated. You have no idea what you've done to keep us going. This is food on the table and gas in the car and things like that, because I'm not working. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that and for being generous about it. Sometimes people feel better about donating when they have more specifics about what's going on. So I do want to say that today, 26th of September, what I'm thinking about right now is getting my son to Boston again for the final round of evaluations and tests. And that's what I'm fundraising for right now, right this second. Because those tests, I hope, will be the last in a line of evaluations that will let us know whether or not we have to consider opening up his spine again. He has not had to have that done since he was 8 years old, and I am very grateful for that. But that's the kind of situation that we're in right now, all right? The first time he had that done, I have to say, this is a story I want to tell because it's one of those things. It actually involves McDonald's, okay? And as much as I detest McDonald's and everything McDonald's stands for, when my son was 8 years old and he had to have his surgery on his spine, I had to stay in a Ronald McDonald house, and I was bloody glad it was there. I was damn glad it was there because it allowed myself and my ex-husband and his brother and sister to be near him. And there was a night that I will literally never forget. It was the night after his surgery, and he had to be we were in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, and he had to be put on a respiratory floor because there was no room for him on the surgical floor, and his neurosurgeon had left town and so was unaware that this had happened. I'm sure he wouldn't have stood for it. But anyway, because he was on a respiratory floor and not a post-op floor, the nurse forgot to start his post-op pain meds, and that poor child screamed in pain for about 14 hours before they got the pain under control again. And I was there on my own. I'd sent my ex-husband and my son away. My daughter was staying with a friend. And I massaged my poor child's back as close to the sort of incision as I could for 14 hours before my husband came back in. And I was unwilling to leave his side long enough to reach for the phone and get his dad back over there to relieve me. So I just did it on my own, and they did come in the morning, and I left and I walked across the street to Ronald McDonald House thinking I was going to sleep, which I don't know why I was thinking that. It was 5 o'clock in the morning, I think. I don't know. It was still very dark, and it was about Halloween time, I think. And so I walked into the little lobby area no one else was there. I was all on my own, and there were a few sort of dimly lit lamps in the living area. And I sat down on a chair, and I realized that I really just needed to go back to the hospital. I wasn't comfortable leaving my son. And But then I thought, maybe I could just make a call and see how he is, And I picked up the phone, and I was so tired and so upset and so, just in that place that I could not figure out how to get an outside line. And I tried and tried and tried, and I couldn't figure it out. And I started to cry. And I was so upset. I feel like crying right now, but because of what happened next. There was a fella who came in through the front door finally. I don't know where he had been. God knows where his child was or what had happened, And he saw me sitting in the corner in this sort of dim light, and he walked over and he said, asked me if he could help me. And I said to him, I can't get an outside line, and my son is so sick, and I just need to find out how he is. And realized at that time just how I was feeling about it, And all he did, this guy who I don't even know his name and I will never see him again in my life, was help me work the phone. That's it. He just helped me work the phone and get my ex-husband on the phone and find out if everything was okay. So I tell that story because I had to stay in a Ronald McDonald house, okay? And God bless the fact that they exist next to children's hospitals everywhere. Anyway, okay, so this is 13.2, I think. Donations can be made and will be gratefully accepted at PayPal, worldlectures@aol.com. It's one word, all lowercase. $5, $100, whatever. It doesn't matter. It all adds up, and it will help see us through. And if you are somebody with a chronically ill child, particularly if you have a diagnosis of the ultra rare condition that my son has, which is LMC-TCS. I'm not going to go into it any further than that. If your kid's got LMC-TCS, you know what I mean. Shoot me an email and we'll have a conversation, okay? Because it's a big deal. All right, so signing off for now. Thank you very much. And I'm going to reach around the back of the camera now and turn it off because it's my signature move, right? Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.